Hi, my name's Jill. Today I am chatting with Leah Love, who is an outdoor rec grad living in Revelstoke, British Columbia. She currently works as a teacher and is also opening Revelstoke's first rock climbing gym. In addition to her career as an educator and business owner, Leah is also an avid rock climber, a climbing guide, and a member of the board of directors of the Revelstoke Climbers Access Society. Keep listening for highlights of our conversation. What year did you graduate from rec?
2016, and then I did the year of teachers college, and then I actually just finished in August. I went back for my master's.
Did you do your master's through Lakehead as well, or?
I did, and it was really easy to go back and do that, and I knew like a few of the profs and like fully online, so it allowed me to stay in Revelstoke.
Did you do your master's of education?
Yeah, it's a super long name. Masters of Education for Change in Environmental Sustainability and Indigenous Education.
Can you kind of break down for me what your current roles are?
Right now, I am a classroom teacher, and then partner and I were opening the climbing gym, so that takes up a lot of our free time as well. We both came from like this background of outdoor rec and stuff, and then finally over the years, we found a location, we got the funding, and it's happening. So with teaching right now, this year, I'm a K1 teacher, and it's great. I mean, I take the kids outside as much as I can.
And is that something you like moved straight into right after graduating, or like what's
Oh
kind of
God,
led you
no.
to your current, if you could break down your career path, what does that look like?
After rec, I did my year of education, and then that was kind of the year I also started doing like a lot of kids camps. All through university, I would come live in Revelstoke. I would guide climbing in the summer. It was awesome, like full week kid camps of like climbing and stuff. Like I got so much work with kids because a lot of guides don't really like working with kids. And in all honesty, like that's not where you make the big bucks. I would take like some families out or just like a couple out. Like I did that a few times, but I definitely went full force with like the kids, and I loved like the kids camps. Like I made this cool little climbing work booklet, and like it's a lot of fun. And so after rec, I like permanently moved to Revelstoke. And then that fall, I went to travel, and I went to like Australia, New Zealand, and Thailand. And that was kind of my plan right from the get-go, was, finish university, go travel. My biggest thing I loved to do was the guiding. And then I would do some serving like on the shoulder seasons. I really loved the flexibility to like pick up and go. And then during COVID is when I applied for the school district here. And I was like, okay, well, I feel like I'm being forced to settle down. I did not think I was going to get into Revelstoke as fast as I did because it's such a small district and a lot of people want to be here. There is a teacher shortage though. So they offered me a contract, and it was actually like the absolute best way for myself to like get into the teaching world, because I never thought I was going to be a teacher. After rec and education, like they go really well together. And I always knew like I wanted to be some sort of outdoor like leader. But then in my like third and fourth year of rec, actually was like, I was like, oh, actually maybe I do want to be a teacher to like change things, to like do things differently. And then I started as an EA, which is so cool. And I worked one-on-one with some kids, and I had like a lot of freedom to like go outside with him, and he actually like thrived outside. And then I actually noticed a lot of the same like barriers of like incorporating outdoor education and like inclusive education, and just like how like it's basically the system. That kid in that year kind of, I thought about going back for my master's, and I was like, oh, like I think I want to learn more. And then the next year there was a learning support teacher role. So the learning support teacher, they have, like, you call it a caseload of all these kids with all these, we call them designations or like diagnostics. And I did that for about just over a year. I loved it. And like I was saying, like I saw so many like just like barriers, and I loved like trying to get creative of like, oh, how can we do this differently? Being a classroom teacher, you have more freedom to do like what you want with that whole group of kids. But with learning support, you like can kind of like plant a seed to all these other teachers of like, well, what if you try this? And what if you try that?
What do you love most about what you do right now?
I really love to get to know people, and I don't care if they're 5 years old. Like, I just love kind of being that, like, I like just like finding people's like gifts and sparks and passions. It's like, I want to help you find what you're passionate about, and let's run with that. And you know what? As hard as it is, I really love to try to like do things differently.
What's the most challenging part about your job right now?
Just like the system, like it's so the way things are expected to be done, and like the expectations of kids are like just like this like blanket thing, that the reality is that I still have all these assessments that I have to do and I have to hand into the district. Just like the system itself is still really deep in its ways, and it's really really hard to go against that. I'm very passionate about giving kids as much choice as they can, but there's a lot of constraints of like time and expectations.
What advice would you give somebody who is entering the field, either in terms of like outdoor and guiding or in terms of the education field, or both?
I'm not gonna lie, this reminds me, um, I remember hearing somebody ask this to Tom Potter when I
Oh
was
yeah.
at Rec, and he said, find your passion and just run with it. And I've kind of held on to that. I can proudly say that like through my life, I have followed my passion. And I think it's the best thing anyone could do is, yeah, find your passion and just follow it, run with it, no matter like where it takes you.
Glad to
Yeah.
have had a chance to chat with you tonight. Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
really
Thanks
appreciate
for
it.
reaching out. Rec was like one of the best things of my life.